What is up, YouTube? This is King of Feral Imps, and I finally kind of finished my Fluffal deck, so I'm going to go ahead and profile it for you for the 2014 format of October. You know, it's a pretty good deck. It's mostly fun, but like this build, this is kind of, I guess, the best build that I was able to come up with after a bit of testing. It's a bit of a turbo build, but still fairly basic. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So first off, for monsters, Fluffal Dog. He's pretty good, like 1700 level 4 beater. His effect that whenever he's normal or special summon, but only from the hand, you can search out any Fluffal card from your deck, or an Edge Imp Scissors, which so basically he searches out your fusion material monsters. He's pretty good. From then on, the level 3 Fluffal Bear. You can go ahead and discard him to search out a toy pot, or set a toy pot directly from your deck. So kind of good in that aspect. He's like, you'll hardly ever attack with the Fluffals themselves, but he's got some decent attack for a level 3. He also has the effect that you contribute him to take a polymerization from your graveyard to your hand. You hardly ever end up using that because you have other ways to recycle your cards, your fusion spell. Then the level 2 Fluffal Owl. He's kind of the more important one. His effect is that when he is normal or special summoned from the hand, you search out a polymerization, which is very useful. He also has the effect that you can pay 500 life points to basically activate the effect of polymerization, but it's his own effect. And you can only fusion a Fright Fur monster, which is this deck's specific type of like boss monster. That does become useful because you can start kind of abusing like the polymerization, like discarding it for cost or something, say like Toy Pod or whatever, and still have something on board. Say like if you can't even activate spells, then you can use his effect instead to fuse. And then lastly, just 2 Fluffal Cats to kind of round it out. This card is fine too. It has the effect that when he's used as a fusion material, you can get back a polymerization from your grave. So that's kind of like the recycle form of it. I'm only playing 2 because I feel like that's like a decent amount. I didn't want like too many of them because if you get to the point where you have to set or summon, he's pretty small, pretty weak, and you can search him out fairly well if you need him. That's all for the Fluffal monsters. That's 11, I believe. Yes, 11. Next up, the 2 Edge Imp Scissors. Of course, I'm going to be playing this. It's an imp. It's pretty good. It's kind of like a Plague Spreader, except it doesn't get banished when it leaves the field. Top deck a card and special summon him from the grave. You can only use this effect once per turn. But you need him as a fusion material for the Fright Furs. These were very hard to get, like, believe it or not. Hardly anybody had them at the sneak peek. But I was able to find 2, and 2 is a decent number. 2 is fine because you don't necessarily want to draw into him, because if you draw into him, you won't normally have the rest of the pieces. But he can easily be searched out though. To search him out, playing 3 Tour Guides, just go ahead and summon and then get the Edge Imp Scissors from the deck. That's a way to get him out. And you can go ahead and Xyz and detach the Edge Imp Scissors and have him in the graveyard to come back later with his effect. So it just kind of gets him into play. And then kind of for a terrible aspect, just 3 card Cardees. This works out for card Cardee just works out getting the pieces you need, because since this is a fusion based deck, you will need of course a lot of things. You'll need the specific fusion materials, and you will need a polymerization, and some other things that you play in the deck to just help out. So card Cardee works out. I guess I got to shout out J Dasher X. I kind of got this idea from him because in his Crimson Sunbird Turbo deck, card Cardee is pretty useful in that. So I'm like, might as well. That's all for monsters. Next, on to the spells. 1 Regeki, 1 Soul Charge. Your basic one-offs. 3 Polymerization. As you can see, I have 1 Polymerization and 2 Fusion Substitutes. You can use any combination, because Fusion Substitute counts as Polymerization but has an extra effect to let you recycle and draw. You probably should, though, be playing 2 Polymerizations and 1 Substitute, Reason being is that Fusion Substitute only works with stuff that's on the field, while Polymerization can use stuff that's on the field and in your hand. This works out fine though. Normally I just search the real Polymerization first off and I'm able to recycle it. This doesn't hurt to draw, of course. I'm not playing Dark Fusion because this isn't exactly an OTK based deck. It does have OTK potential, but Dark Fusion just kind of, you can't search Dark Fusion, so that's just my problem with it. And then one Fusion Recovery to get back your Polymerization and a Fusion Material. You can end up going like double of the boss monster that's in this deck. That's like I said, some of the recycling. One's fine, possibly two. Then just two Toy Pot. You can search it out with Bear, which I play 3 of, and it's a decent card. I feel like in a sense you might need it, just because it is a way to kind of get things working. You definitely can get the effect off, of course, by using Edge Imp Scissors to stack something, and then be guaranteed to be able to special something off of special summon something off of the effect. And you can always discard Polymerizations, which you can end up recycling. Last spell, the Battle Fusion. This is a really awesome card. Again, this is in I believe it's in J-Rex's Crimson Sunbird Turbo, so you know, great idea. Basically, what it is, it's honest for fusion monsters, but it only works when I think it only works till the damage step, the end of the damage step, of course, but still very useful. Sometimes if I don't exactly need this, then I'll go ahead and discard it with Toy Pot to get some plays going. But it does become useful. I thought about 3, but I feel like 2's fine. Even if Honest was at 3, I feel like only 2 of him would be needed, in a sense. But this just helps get your fusion monster over bigger things, or kind of go in for the bit of damage and just destroy larger things. That is it for spells. Now for traps, just the basic 3, the Solemn, the Bottomless, and the Compulse. You definitely could, of course, use a time-space trap hole, just don't have one. Then 2 Vanity's Emptiness. This kind of works out. I'm liking it because, you know, Vanity's is just something that's very good in the game right now. It's kind of working out with this deck because if you're able to bring out, say, like one of the fusion and you have this set, then you can kind of stun your opponent, so make sure they don't really do anything because, like I said, this isn't OTK based. So you won't exactly be finishing off your opponent in one turn always. So this kind of just ensures that they can't do much. Or you can go ahead and use this while you're searching for the pieces, and then you can go ahead and turn it off with, you know, Trap Stun, which I play 3 of. It also helps for, like I said, it does have OTK potential, and you do kind of want to make sure your plays go off, especially your fusion monsters. So that's why Trap Stun becomes useful. And then just 3 Threatening Roars, which I really like comboing Threatening Roar with Card Car. And then again, this helps with stalling and getting all the pieces you need for your plays. That's it for the main deck. And now it's time for the extra deck. Yes. Alright. So first of all, using 3 of the Frightful Wolf. Yes, this is a Punished Eagle. It's Proxylicious. For whatever reason, a rare is really hard to find. But anyway, Frightful Wolf is just really good. It needs 1 Edge Imp Scissors, or Edge Imp Sabers, and then 1 or more Fluffal monsters to fusion summon it. And then it can attack a number of times equal to however many fusion material monsters were used for its summon. It's only got 2,000, so that's why Battle Fusion ends up being very important, because it can get up to, it can just beat over your opponent's monsters and then attack once more directly, or twice more or 3 more, depending on how many fusion summon. Basically the boss monster of the deck, which are going to be fusion summoning. I'm not playing the bear just because for whatever reason a rare is hard to find, and it's just not that good. That's all for fusions, just 3. For Xyz monsters, 1 Gotchi because I like playing Gotchi when I'm playing Card D and something else that has any other spare level 2 for whatever reason, in case Card D gets Veilered or something and I happen to draw an owl and I absolutely need to go defensively, then Gotchi's good. More defensive power, a Fortune Tune also helps with recycling stuff. Really, you can only recycle your bears, but it's still just very good, being able to gain 500 life points. Essentially gets you a free polymerization with this. One Zen mains for more defense, Tempo for Exceeds Disruption, Engineer for more defense, Leviair. Okay, this one should be Alucard, which is going to be right there, of course, because none of your stuff is going to end up getting banished, but this should be Alucard. I found in testing that I don't really need Alucard as much. I'll just end up going into something else most of the time. But he's useful. If you happen to have one, use them. Right now the deck's working fine without it, just because I don't exactly need to pop set stuff since I have the traps done. 1 Giga Brilliant, just easy detach and get things pumped up. Okay, here's Soul of Silver Mountain. Now, my reasoning being is that I was thinking of teching in Crane. That never materialized though. That is in my side deck, in case I want to side into a more rank 3 basing. But of course, all your bears are Earth, and they're level 3, so if the chance ever comes up, then you can go ahead and make this, and it's pretty decent. Then 1 Leviathan Dragon. I end up going into this with Tour Guide most, just to get an easy detach and then have a nice 25 beater on the field, and then keep my plays going by bringing back the Edge Imp and then fusing into something. 1 Nightmare Shark, trying it out for fun, and then 1 Acid Golem, and then the last monster, the rank 4, is a Evil Swarm Excite-Knight. You're only playing, 3 level 4s, but for whatever reason, if you find yourself having to Exceed Summon a rank 4 with your Fluffal dogs, it's gonna need to be Excite-Knight because you're in a bad position. That's all for the extra deck. I will go ahead and say this. I was thinking about teching in a Parapsychroid. For whatever reason, in case I draw 2 cars and a polymerization, for whatever reason, if this happens. This was a possibility. Don't do this. It's a dumb idea. But it's there if you feel lucky. So anyway, that is it for the Fluffal deck profile for November 2014. It's a really fun deck. Mostly focuses on fusion summoning, and it can be pretty good. Although I will need to test it against a lot more things. I will need to test it more in general, to see how this build works out. It's been working out pretty well so far. They have a really nice synergy with each other, and it's really great that they're able to come out with another fusion archetype, but something that actually uses polymerization instead of its own specific fusion spell, and that's able to kind of support it a lot better. Between Owl searching it out and Cat recycling it, and then Dog being able to search more like an Owl and a Cat so far, it works pretty well. And then of course the Edge Imp Sabers being a tour guide target helps as far as getting it out there. Oh, there it is. So, let me know what you think of this in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions for a different type of build, because there are many different types of builds. There are the OTK oriented one, which I believe is a bit more turbo-ish than this, but probably gets it done faster and doesn't try to I feel like this version kind of maybe generates a bit more advantage, or just trying to has more solid plays or something. And of course uses the Toy Vendor card, which is pretty fun. It's a neat idea. Can go awry sometimes. So again, if you enjoyed the content, please remember to leave a like and a comment to show your support, and don't forget to subscribe for much more fun Imp decks coming up in the future. So anyway, have a nice day, YouTube. This has been King of Feral Imps.